What is up, gang? What is up, family? It's your girl, La Monday here. You know the vibe. Okay, so this vlog is gonna be as straightforward as I can be in terms of just letting you guys know how my journey was with IVF, and have just been trying to wrap my head around everything I just went through. It was so fast, the whole process. I really just had to take a moment to be like, whoa, like I really accomplished something really big and I'm really proud of myself, but I just needed to like sit in it for a minute. I wanted to share with y'all my journey, how I felt about it, going in, and just the full process. And again, this is just my journey. A person's journey going through this process is very different. I'm aware that it's not only cis hetero women who do egg retrieval, trans people, trans men also are a part of this journey as well, and it's a big one. Like I said in my previous vlog, I knew I wanted to do this for a while, but I just was dragging my feet. And essentially what it is, once you make the decision with your OBGYN that this is something that you're gonna do, what I did was, just to make the process a little simpler for me, is I went in and got a screen by her, and then what she did was went through my network, or I had my insurance company print off all of the different IVF facilities that were in my network. I had them print off like a whole list that I could take to my OBGYN. My OBGYN then went through that list with me and was like, no, 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 yep, and then would highlight the ones that she was like, I know them, this is a great doctor if you want to use them, etc. And I think it was like a couple pages, maybe like 15 or 20 pages of doctors, and she was able to reduce it down to like 8, which was very, very helpful. And once she did that, I then went through those 8 and was like, okay, was left with like 2 doctors, the same facility. And I was like, okay, well that means that this is probably a good facility. Then from there, I kind of did more research. I was able to go with Dr. Carrie Wambach. Love her. Reproductive Partners, great facility in Beverly Hills. Highly, highly, highly recommend. The whole staff, everybody was very, very caring, very, very like reassuring. And you know, they do this process time and time again, multiple times a day. I just felt very comfortable knowing that. From that point on, I scheduled a consult with Dr. Wambach, and from there did an ultrasound. A great candidate for this, like let's get started as soon as you're ready. And I was like, I'm ready. Because at this point I was just very eager to kind of like get it over with, get it done. So for my process, what we did was you go in the first day, take blood samples, and from there they put you on like specific medication. For me, it was birth control to kind of help regulate my egg follicles and my hormones. For the first week, you're like just on birth control, just regulating. And then from there, I come back in, get screened again, and they're okay, like things are looking good. They're at a specific size. And one thing to note, when you go into the treatment facility, every time you go, they will draw blood, which if you're not good with blood or squeamish, that's something you will have to get over. As a person with tattoos and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, like I'll be good. At a point, I was like, this is kind of sucks, but nothing to the point where I was like, I couldn't do it. It was just like, okay, let me brace to get like pricked or whatever. That was kind of like the first part. So they would draw blood, you know, and just kind of like make sure everything was good. Everything was good. We kept going through the process. From there, you move on from regular birth control to your actual injections, which for me were Gonal-F, the Gonal-F red pin, as well as the Menopur. And so I started with like 2 vials of Menopur, but I didn't read it right.
What?
I know. I actually, for the first week, I think I just did 1 vial of Menopur because I was like 1 shot of the Gonal, 1 shot of Menopur, I'm good. And I didn't realize it was like 2 vials. But by the time I let them know that, they're like, well, everything is progressing pretty fine, so you're good. And I ended up doing 2 vials and just kept going from there. From that point on, it's just a matter of you every night, the same time, doing my Gonal-F shot, doing my 2 Menopur shots, and basically all of those injections is to regulate the growth of the egg follicles, because when you start, I believe they're like 3 or 4 millimeters, like you're super, super small, but then they grow to like 20, and that's the size you want them to be once they do the egg retrieval. So that's kind of what you're working up. You're working up to kind of like grow your egg follicles so that they can then extract it and then freeze it. It's also a reason why you can't work out in that time period. They really want you to not work out. I think all I did was like go for like a walk like for the 2.5 weeks or so, which for me, since I work out almost every day, was a little like hard because I was kind of like sitting around, but you make the best of it. And honestly, I just use it as time to like FaceTime my mom more, FaceTime my friends, and just kind of like get things done around my apartment. So it wasn't the worst thing ever, but it was something that I was like, I want to, you know, keep my routine, but it was all good. That point on, that's really all that you do. You go in every 3 days or so for them to monitor how big the egg follicle is progressing. By the end of that period, I want to say like a week out, they up my doses. So instead of 2 Menopur, I did 3 Menopur. And they did Centratide as well. I'm blanking on what the Centratide was for, but all of it again is just to regulate the growth of your egg follicle to get it to that specific size. Again, you're constantly going into the doctor's office. Every 3 days, I would go into the doctor's office. Scheduling wise, if you're a person who goes into work or you know you have to be out of town a lot, try to make sure that you can be home or near your doctor's office for a good month, because they're gonna need to see you. They're gonna need to literally go inside of you, really understand how it's growing. Like I thought it could just be an ultrasound over the stomach. Like no, they go inside every single time. And at first, you know, again, I'm used to getting pap smears and things like that. I regularly get myself checked out. But with that, it was so, because you know, you go, but you go like once a year. You go, you know, every other couple of days. So I just got, you know, just really comfortable in my head and was like, you know what, this is their job. Like everybody was just so sweet and nice. And I think I was a little nervous at first. Took me a minute to relax, but by the last week I was like, yep, you know, I'm undressed and just, you know, we were talking through it. Just, I wanted to understand a bit more about the specific things that they were measuring, medical procedure. And so I just literally just took it as that. I can ask them whatever I want, like whatever is on my mind. Like they deal with so many different types of patients. And while my process was maybe a little smoother than others, they've kind of been through it all. And then by the time you do the egg retrieval, you have to go in like 2 or 3 days before the egg retrieval. And basically what they do is they monitor everything to officially confirm that you're good. And then they do a trigger shot. And basically a trigger shot is a specific medication that you take. It's not Menopur, it's not Centratide, it's not Gonal-F. It's a specific other type of injection that goes on both sides of like your back hip. And essentially that shot was a little more intense than the other ones. Like the first shot, let me tell you about the first shot, y'all. The first shot, I was so nervous to give myself the first shot. Again, I got tattoos and everything, but I don't know why. I just was like, I really gotta give myself shots. Like I was really bugging out, especially like leading up to the first appointment when they were gonna walk me through how to give my shots. I was just so nervous. And then Brad was like, I'll come over, like I'll like be there if you need anything. And so he comes over, which I really appreciated. And shout out to the homegirl that I was at like a going away thing, and this girl, I opened up that I was doing this, and she was like, whatever you do before you give yourself shots, ice the area and then give yourself a shot. I promise you won't feel a thing. And that shit was game changer, because I barely felt anything because of that. And I really appreciate her for saying that. As you do research online and stuff, others say to do that, but I'm glad that she just like at this party was just like, make sure you ice. It will make all the difference. It really does. Make sure you ice. If you are doing this process, make sure you ice before your injections. I barely felt it after that. It was really, and then you have a lot of adrenaline going on too. Every day I was like, oh yeah, I gotta give myself a shot tonight. Like, so it was like all this adrenaline every day. Nothing crazy, but you know, like I don't do this. So it was just very interesting to me. Brad came over, both of us was like so nervous. I was like mixing and getting this shit together. He was like, what is happening right now? And I literally just did it, and I was like, oh, Like it did not hurt like I thought it was gonna hurt. So I really was just really thankful that it wasn't that bad for me, or that my pain tolerance was high enough, so it kind of evened out. Did that for a good 2.5 weeks of giving myself shots, and from there I was able to take it in of what was happening. And I think it got really real after I did my trigger shot. But let me get to the trigger shot though. I went in on a Sunday. So Sunday leading up to the week of my actual egg retrieval, I went in Sunday. They're like, yeah, you're good. You know, take your trigger shot tonight. We won't see you tomorrow, but then we'll see you the following day for your egg retrieval. We're gonna schedule the operation. You're gonna be good. And I was like, operation? And like they put you to sleep. I've never been put to sleep before, so that was kind of like bugging me. But I was like, cool. Like I'll put it into the pharmacy, because the pharmacy that I use, they deliver it, which has been great. I left the office, yeah, I'll put it in. And for whatever reason on the app, it wasn't letting me put it in. So I was like, hey, reached out to customer service, and they were like, hey, like, can you come pick it up? And it's a Sunday, y'all. It's a Sunday. I went in early to go to my appointment. My appointment was good. Every time I've been doing it on the app, never went in before. Tell me why. They were like, oh, like we can't deliver it to you. Like, can you come pick it up? In the middle of something, so like an hour later, I was like, yeah, I can pick it up, but I am like, can I pick it up at this time? I'm busy now, but I'll be here. I can come at this time. They were like, you know, we're closing now. You can't come now, then like we're closing, so like you can't come. And I was like, okay, like I'll come tomorrow. Do not do that, y'all. Do not do what I did. It was like a portal where you could talk to the doctor and stuff. So I just like messaged the receptionist or the doctor, just being like, hey, like I couldn't do it today. Pick it up first thing tomorrow, so I'll have it tomorrow. And that was like that Sunday. I went to go play golf with some colleagues of mine, and you can't drink during this time either. And I remember I was on the golf course, and the guys were like, yeah, we got Fireball and like some Modelo's, like, come on, take a shot. And I was like, I'm good on a shot. And I didn't want to get into like the whole thing, so I was just like, I'm not gonna drink. I'm just gonna, you know, play with you guys. And I knew they were kind of like, this L7, you know, you just have to do what you have to do. Play golf. Had a great day that day. And then the next morning, and my doctor called me. She was like, you didn't take it? And I was like, no, they were closed and I couldn't deliver. They were closing. I couldn't make it there. She's like, oh no. Okay, this could jeopardize your entire treatment of what we're doing right now. I really, really, really wish you had called me. Like, you can call me anytime. And, you know, I'm thinking it's Sunday, you know, it's my doctor. Like, just gonna message them through the portal. Do not do that, y'all. Like, any slip up with your medication, reach out to the doctor immediately. It's so vital. Like, it's so vital. I got lucky. Thankfully, like, I literally was proud. I was like, God, please, like, make sure this goes through. I just don't want to have to deal with this. And so, thankfully, I went into the doctor right away. They monitored, you know, my follicles. Everything was looking good. I put in an order. They were like, literally go there right now. And if they have a restroom or a bathroom, do the shot there. And at this point, I had just been doing the shots for 2.5 weeks. So I was like, I mean, sure, if I have to do it in the fucking car, I'll do it in the car. And that's what happened. I went there, I picked it up. It was like some miscommunication, so I had to have both of them like on the phone, like figuring that out. Got my medication, literally went in my car, went in the back seat, and gave myself a shot. Like, I wish I filmed that process, but it was so just chaotic that I just was like happy that I was able to get it and get the Centrotide in my system before the actual trigger shot that I had to do that night. And that's what I was at. It was complications because they didn't have it yet or something. Anyway, I do that. I go back home. I do the trigger shot, and you know, just kind of like the next day, there's nothing to do. It's just, you have to kind of just wait at that time. And they pencil me in for the very next day. And when I went in, I was just nervous. I was like, I just hope that everything is good. Like, I hope that I didn't fuck up anything. I really was on my P's and Q's. Like, I was very like, every morning at 7, it was like 7:30, 7:45, 8:15. Like, I would be in the doctor's office like early in the morning before I was at work, just to be able to get it done and do my process. And it was you know, a little grueling in the morning, but I'm a morning person, so it wasn't too bad. It was just like an early start to my day. That Wednesday came, Brad picked me up. Shout out to Brad, such a great friend. I really appreciated him for being there for me and just in that whole process, because, you know, I just think it made sense for him to be with me. He's like my guy. So we go, and you know, they make me get in this gown. I get in this bed, and they are hooking me up to a catheter to like get, you know, the anesthesia in. And that's kind of when I got really nervous, because I just never been put to sleep before. I knew it was nothing to worry about. The process, the operation lasts, I want to say, around like 15, maybe 20 minutes. Like, it's not that long. After they, like, you know, wash you up and get everything kind of like good down there, it's literally like a 15-20 minute process or operation, and or procedure. Operation or procedure, I don't know, y'all decide. Just laying there, I was praying. You know, Brad was, you know, being great. He was like keeping me like just, you know, just had a smile on his face. And I think he was nervous, I was nervous, but he was like, in a way, like just very reassuring. And again, I just really appreciate him for being there for me. I love you so much, Brad. And from there on, and we could hear the couple next to us being like, they were having issues getting the vein and stuff. And so the woman had to like take a deep breath. We could hear her whole process. I was like, oh God, I feel like her right now, but I'm internalizing it all. And so, yeah, they came in, they had issues finding my vein as well, but then like the second time they came in, like it was fine and it worked, so it was good. And yeah, they walked me over to the operation room. I go into the operation room and I'm like, whoa, this looks like an operation room from like Grey's Anatomy, like all the lights and stuff. It was crazy. I was like, this is so insane. And I laid there, and the last thing I heard the doctor say was like, hey, like, you know, we're gonna, you know, the anesthesia is gonna feel a little cold, and you're gonna get a fuzzy feeling in your mouth, and then just gonna be out for a little bit. It's gonna take a little nap. I kid y'all not, I was out. Like, she said that, I like took a deep breath and was like, you know, just calming myself. I felt the fuzziness, a tingling sensation in my mouth or my tongue. Within a couple seconds, I was out. It was like, I remember that portion of it, but then I don't remember the actual, you know, me being out a portion. And then I just woke up in the post-op room, and Brad's like next to me, like, hey, you doing okay? And I was like, whoa, it's over. Like, I did it. And I didn't feel like I felt a little like tired, like woozy a little bit, but like I could walk. I walked to the bathroom. I put my clothes back on. I was like, whoa, like anesthesia is crazy, y'all. Like, anesthesia is insane. It was all a little bit of a blur at that point, but you know, I got wheeled to the car, and then Brad took me home and just kind of like hung with me for a couple hours until he had to go, and I just rested for the day. And they were like, yeah, you might feel a lot of pain or whatever, and I was like waiting for the pain to feel something. And I didn't feel anything. They called, they like checked in. I was like, no, I'm feeling good. And they called the next day, and I was like, I'm still feeling good. Like, I'm good. Like, I was just very, and they're like, okay. And like, just let you know, like, we were able to retrieve 7, 4 are not mutating. 4 are, we're keeping them, the 4 for overnight, 24 hours. And then if they mature, we'll bring them over. It was like, okay. And then the next day they're like, okay, only 1 matured, so we're bringing that over, so you have a total of 8, but we have to discard the other 3. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And yeah, so now it's just kind of like working through the process of you know, the storing them and all that stuff. But it was very surreal to kind of go through the process, but it wasn't anything egregious. Like, I really appreciated the faculty and the facility that I was a part of. They really made me feel taken care of and just reassured in every step of the process. And it was just so interesting because, like, I'm such a fucking, like, you know, just, you know, black lesbians, you know, stud, just out here like doing my thing, going in there with like baggy pants on, snapback shit, and just like they're with their husbands and their partners, and just I'm just dolo. Like, this is a part of my purpose. I know I would like to be a parent down the road, and it's just an investment into myself that I knew that I needed to kind of get out of the way right now. Very, very surreal, but so glad that I did it. I think I'm gonna do it one more time just to, you know, better my odds and my chances. And I don't want a football field of kids running around, but I do want, you know, just to make sure. I think through the process of the thawing and everything, it can get a little complicated. So the more eggs options you have, the better. So I think I'm gonna do it one more time, and then from there I'm gonna let, you know, God do his thing. And see what happens. I'm looking forward to that part of my journey as well, but I think right now I'm just trying to live in the present and do what I can for the present moment. I hope this helped and inspired you guys to you know, look into it for yourselves. If it's something you're curious about, I really, really recommend it. I know everybody's journey with their uterus can be very taboo and daunting given what you've been through in your past, but I think it's something that if you can do it and you feel compelled to do it, you should do it. I think that it just really made me feel more assured of that decision, and just know that it's an option. You know, you don't have to do anything. I don't have to go through with this process down the road of children if I don't want to. I don't have to, but it gives me an option. And I think options are you know, a gateway to freedom. You know, you have more options, the more freedom you have of choice. And I think that's kind of what it comes down to me. I just want the freedom of choice to have the choice. And if I don't want to do it, or my, you know, future partner doesn't want to, then that's something we attack together as a team. But you know, if you don't do it, then you don't have the option, or you then risk you know, again, a 34-year-old, it was just something that was really weighing on me. And I think that if something is really on your spirit, you should just kind of like attack it head on. I'm so happy I did it. I really hope this inspired you guys and helped you through what you're debating. And again, I welcome any questions about anything specific that I may not have went over, but I feel like I touched on the big components of it all. Again, the needles are not the funnest, but definitely was not as bad as I thought. Every night I gave myself injections, and I don't know, they weren't as bad as I thought they were gonna be. We get to a point in technology and medicine where, you know, I just fucking spit in a cup and all is well. But until then, you know, it's the process that I hope is worth it in the long run. So thank you guys for listening. We'll get back to our regular scheduled programming. All right, y'all. Peace.